I'm going to go through the Module 2 assignment and how to use Excel to complete it. A lot of the functionality in Excel I'm going to be discussing in this video. The first thing we need to do is select a region. And for this video, I'm just going to go with the first region here, the East North Central region. I need a random sample of 30 rows from this region. So how to get a good random sample in Excel is to use this function, type equals rand, and then open and close parentheses. What that does is generates a random number between 0 and 1. And if you click the bottom right and you drag down, it's going to do that same function, equals rand, for each row that you drag it down through. And you can see every time I hit enter or type something in Excel, a new random number is generated. So what I need to do to get a good random sample for my region is drag this down all the way through the East North Central region. So all the way down here, I've dragged it down. I actually went a little further, it doesn't matter. But each row now has a random value between 0 and 1 here in column G, completely random. So if I just select the 30 smallest or the 30 largest of those values, it will be completely 30 random rows out of this region. So I'm going to select all of the data here in East North Central, go from the bottom all the way to the top. I'm going to select my header rows here as well. And here in column G, that's what I want to sort by. I'm going to do the 30 smallest random numbers that were generated. So I go up to Data in Excel and click on Sort. And I'm going to sort by column G, where that random number was generated. And I'll just do smallest to largest. Now when you hit OK, watch here. Every time you hit Enter or evaluate a function, a new random number is generated. So you'll see these numbers change. But I can trust that Excel has sorted them based on the 30 smallest before they changed. So these first 30 rows, I'm going to select 30 rows now, are completely randomly selected. So let me go to the top here and make sure I'm getting 30 rows. If I, you can see down at the bottom of Excel how many things you've selected. I'm just going to make sure it turns to 30. 30. All right. So I want to go down to row 35. So I'm going to select all that data. I'll take the columns with me. I'm going to copy that, and I'll just open up a new, I'm going to hit plus here. It gives me a brand new blank worksheet. I'm going to paste my sample of 30 random rows. Now I don't need these random numbers anymore. Let's just delete that. And I'm going to be using the median listing price and the median square feet. So I can actually delete this column as well. I'm going to right click and hit delete that column. Now I'm going to be using data analysis toolpack here some. If you don't have that installed, within our rubric, come down to descriptive statistics in Excel, and there's a tutorial here on getting the analysis toolpack installed. So click on that and it'll walk you through all the steps. So if I select like my median listing price here, let's select my 30 data values. I can come up here and click on descriptive statistics. And then when I hit OK, I'm going to actually need to, with the cursor in the input range, I'm going to need to select my data values here again. And I'm just going to select where I want these to be outputted. I'm just going to click right here, put the cursor there again, and click where you want your output. And I want my summary statistics. So make sure that checkbox right there is checked. When you hit OK, right there, you're going to see the mean pops up, and the median pops up, and if there's a mode, that will pop up as well. You also see the maximum and the minimum value, which we'll use as we create our histograms. Standard deviation. There's a lot of great information there that you can get quickly using that data analysis. We would want to do the same thing here for the median square feet. I'll just go ahead and do that. So come up data analysis, descriptive statistics. Where's my data? I need to click there and now go select my data that I want. All right, I just want that column. Where do I want the output? Again, click there and click where you want your output to go. Summary statistics. I'm going to hit OK. And you see I got an error. That's easy to do. So I'm just going to go back and do it again. I see my error is here because I forgot to delete what was there. It's nice to delete before you start selecting again. Make sure you don't get too much selected or inputted wrong. So right here I'm going to delete all that, and now click where I want it. So I just have one cell showing up there. All right, so now it's probably smart as you're working with this to change the titles and stuff so you don't forget what you've done or what the numbers stand for. Keep track of your data. So for the median square feet, again, I have the mean, standard deviation, median mode, all that stuff showing up very quickly using that data analysis. Now I want to compare these to the national market and compare it to those two graphs. So you're going to need to create your two graphs to compare it to these that are showing up here. And you see we're getting two histograms here for the national market. And I'll go ahead and I'll start with the square footage one. Notice how big their bins are. So like in between 1,000 and 2,000 square feet, there's 4 different columns. So that means each column would represent 250 square feet. So 250, 1,500, 1,750, and then you get to 2,000 and so on. So they're splitting up each 1,000 square feet into 4 different bins. So we're going to want to split our data up that same way as well in 250 square foot increments. So coming back here into Excel, I'm going to go ahead and create those bins. So square feet bins. I want 250 square foot increments. So starting with 250 square feet, the next one would be 500, 750. I don't need to type them all out. Excel recognizes patterns. So if I just select this pattern I've got going, I can just drag now. And looking back here, I see the very largest bin they had was 4,000. So I really don't need to go larger than 4,000 square feet. So I'm going to go ahead and stop there for my bins. But a better way to make the more precise histogram that's going to look better and zone in on your data is use this output here you got for the minimum and maximum. So we don't have any houses in my sample smaller than 1,089 square feet. So I'm actually going to have my smallest bin start at 1,000 because my first item is in that range between 1,000 and 1,250. My maximum is 3,700, so I'm going to actually get rid of that last bin. So now what I want to do is I'm going to come here, and I'm again going to use this data analysis. This time I'm going to make a histogram. I'm going to hit OK. Let me clear these out. You don't want to have the wrong thing in there. So my input data that I want is the median square foot. I'm going to grab my square foot info. The bins, that's what I just created here from 1,000 up to my largest. And my output, just where do I want this to show up? I'm going to put it right there. I want my chart to come with it. And I'm going to hit OK. And so it breaks down my bins, tells me how much data comes into each bin, and I can come up and look at my histogram there. It created that chart as well. So now you would want to compare how does this look compared to the national market, the histogram for that. So there's going to be some similarities, some differences. For mine here, I kind of have a similar pattern of starting off not very many, then there's the peak and it comes back down. But I have an outlier way out here that makes my histogram look quite a bit different. This big gap in between the bulk of my data and then the largest square foot house. That stands out to me. So make that comparison. And then you're going to want to do this for the home price as well. And to see the size of your bins for home price, you notice each 500 on the x-axis here split up into 4 bins. So if you divide 500 by 4, that's 125. So you want each bin to jump up by 125 in size. And we're talking thousands here. So your home price bins need to go up by 125,000 at a time. So 125, 250,000. Excel will catch on to the pattern. And we don't need to go larger than that because we're not going to have any homes priced higher than that. Now, if you just do it like this, representing thousands, like 125 is 125,000, I'm going to need to actually change my data so that it's like that as well. And I think that's a little nicer to look at, so I'm actually going to do it. So I'm going to reference where my home prices are, and I'm going to divide those by 1,000. So 202,000 is going to be 202. That's how it's going to show up. And you don't have to do this, but I think it's nicer to look at rather than those big, huge, large numbers. So median price in thousands. All right, so I'm going to just walk through that whole process one more time of creating that histograms. So we can see it one more time. I'm going to come here and go up to data analysis, create my histogram. I like to just delete these to make sure they're starting fresh. My input range, I want to scroll over, and I'm actually going to use median price in thousands, select that data. My bin range, let me scroll over here. And I'm going to select that. And then my output range, I actually want to come to right there. So V6, that looks correct. Let me get my chart, and let's just put it there. And so you can see I did make a mistake here. It's good to see this. I have all this extra room I really don't need. I should have referred back to my summary data here. My maximum home price is $448,000. My minimum is 83. So I actually want to come here. I can stop at 500,000. I don't have anything larger than that. So I'm going to delete that and just do it again. So let me come over here. Data analysis, my histogram. All right, so my input range, come back, my median price. My bins are right here. Home price bins. And then my output, where did I want that? Let me just, I'll come over and just keep going to the right here. Let's put it right here. So Y6, you can kind of make sure that's correct. Hit OK. My chart popped up right there. And I have a more column there. I really don't want that. If you ever, you can click on this now and kind of edit which bins you have. I can get rid of that more. Did it go away? I'm gonna hit apply down here. Trying to get that in the video. Hit apply. There we go. So there is my histogram, and I can compare that now to the national average. So coming back to the data, I'm going to now do the scatter plot. And I'm going to go ahead and stick with my price in thousands. If I just select these two columns of data here, I can go up to Insert and then look at the picture that looks like a scatter plot. And it says scatter, click on that. And you get your scatter plot here. And you can change your chart title to whatever you want. And then answer those questions about, do you see a association or relationship between, as the square footage is going up, is the home price going up as well? And we can kind of see that it clearly is. We get this steep increase as square footage increases, so is the home price. And it is roughly linear. You could kind of draw a straight line that would go through almost most of the data here. We do have an outlier over here, a very large home, and then we have an outlier here. Now click on any one of these data pieces here, and if you're on this plus button, you can add the trend line, and you can kind of see these outliers are throwing it off. The major trend is right through the data here, but the outlier is pulling the line towards it. And then you can also right click, and that's another way to do the trend line, but this also gives us the equation of the trend line. So click on that. And you're going to come over here and you can come all the way to the right in Excel and you scroll down and you want to add the linear trend line, make sure that's clicked, and also display the equation of it and the R-square value. And those pop up right on your chart. And this equation then is what you can use to make predictions about, if you know the square footage of a home, how much do you predict it will cost? So you can plug in whatever your equation is, plug in a value for X for the square footage, and what you calculate then, the Y value result will be the estimated price based off of your trend line and your analysis here in Excel with the scatter plot. So let me know if you have questions about any other part of this assignment or anything's confusing, and I'll help out as best I can. Have a great day.